Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakorash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And we're going to go into news and prophecy and link the things that we see happening worldwide to the Holy Scriptures to show the faithful elect, the remnant, that the words of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are faithful and true. All right, as we are in perilous times, all right, the enemy, pursuant to biblical prophecy, all right, would operate with the spirit of knowing that he had a short time in the latter days. So there's a lot happening, all right, and you're going to start to hear the term agent pop up a lot because we are in those times. And if you as an Israelite think that coming into the truth meant that, everybody who says shalom or shalom has, the right intent, and that Esau Edom doesn't have his hand, all right, planted in particular camps, all right, and that ultimately he's not gonna, do the same thing he's been known to do, all right, to what is called so-called black uprisings. And even though we're teaching that it's the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the indigenous people, of North, Central, and South America, the so-called African American, the so-called Haitian, okay, the so-called Jamaican, Trinidadian, and all of that, those are all the people of the Lord. You see, and the position that we are in earth and the judgment that we underwent is associated to the Bible, all right, biblical prophecy, okay? And the reason that we're on the bottom and that, the Edomites and all of these various different nations are on top, is because of our disobedience and the fulfillment of the curses, all right? So here in these latter days, the Lord has sent the Holy Spirit. We're awakening, and the scriptures said exactly this. Let's get it in the book of Revelation 11. Revelation the 11th chapter. Because we have a lot to rejoice about. It's dangerous. It's crazy. It's a lot, and it takes a lot to endure unto the end. But hey, we got a lot to rejoice, in as well. Seeing where the enemy is going with it and knowing it's getting ready to get ugly and nasty. Like the dude Will Mills, that clown, he says nasty work. Esau Edom is putting forth nasty work in the earth right now. And he's caught, and he's operating in a spirit that no matter how bad it looks, no matter how blatant the lie is, how blatant the propaganda is, he's going forward with it. This is the book of Revelation 11 and 11 after 3 days and a half. All right, from 1619, when Judah, Benjamin, and Levi primarily were brought over here on slave ships to link up, all right, with the northern kingdom, Ephraim, all right, the kingdom of Ephraim, all right, the indigenous people of the Americas, who were slaughtered, raped, robbed, and murdered by, Christian Edomites. And here it is, all of these years of your reign of terror, you've been in existence about 230, 40 plus years. And you've been at war, all right, probably 90%, at least 230 of those years, you've been at war. And most of those wars were you being on the offense or creating, propaganda and false flags to go and invade and bomb and destroy. And you're doing the same thing now. And here it is in the latter days, you're pointing out everybody else as the boogeyman. But it's all centered around the fear of the Great Awakening. Okay, the spirit of life entered into them, the Israelites who were in a dead state. And when Christians try to go into the book of Revelation, just when a Christian comes up, make him go into Revelation prophecy, asking about the throne of David. We're not playing that little semantics about the Gentiles, and we've already broke that down. Do we have to keep the laws? We already went into that. The Hebrew Israelites have stated their position all right, as it comes to what we believe and what we teach. We've put it out in the open, whether you hear or forbear, it's there. We've answered your questions. So Christians, make them break down the book of Revelation. Make them break down Daniel 7. Go into prophecy with the Christians, man. They haven't went into these prophecies. The Israelites are doing that. You see? The Israelites are the ones going into the scrolls, man. Going into these precepts. And now the Christians, everybody's in an uproar and all scared simply behind, the Israelites are raising and just preaching the truth on the highways and the byways. That has the world in an uproar. And they're doing everything that they can to link us, all right, to terror, to domestic terror. That's what's coming. In particular, camps are going to aid in forwarding that, whether they just be simple, okay, no true leadership, horrible war tactics as we're behind enemy's lines. Okay, you can be as bold as you want in the sense of, we're bold in the sense of preaching the word. We go out highways and the byways. We don't break from the doctrine. We're approaching the throne boldly, going out on the highways and the byways, standing before the face of such as have afflicted us. All right, but you still have to operate and maneuver with wisdom. And we're going to get into a few things in this news and prophecy. So after we woke up, right, and stood on our feet, and they stood up on their feet, which this is synonymous with Ezekiel 37, and great fear fell on them which saw them. And great fear fell on them which saw them. So as they're looking at the Israelites wake up, okay, it's associated with what? They would be scared. So really the way that these people are acting, okay, the narratives that we see that are getting painted, okay. Salakia, I had to do something real quick. So going back to where we were as we started, this is from Newsbreak, all right, .com, I believe. It says, exploring the solidarity between the Black Americans and Palestinians. You see that? You see what we told you that these devils was gonna try to do? Or not they doing it? See, a lot of you Israelites get caught up, all right, and being starstruck and camps matching and the most well spoken. You have to the way you follow Yahweh Bashim Shai is about ultimately, all right, taking heed to his prophets, to those were given the oracles. Where there is no vision, the people perish. That word vision ties into oracle, which is divine communication, man. So the mouthpiece of the Lord is the prophets. Have not we told you that we're going to do this? Now here it is, this devil. Okay, what's going on and how they're trying to paint this anti-Sem narrative with the Muslims and the Palestinians, which we told you, vocab Malone, all right, who's supporting all of these war crimes and things we see openly in the Christian Zionists, and they're all set up to try to link us to terror. Did not we tell you that his job was to link us to, all right, Islamic terrorists? For years he used to do skits. Here it is. All right, they're making a big fuss, which we'll get into that, with these guys from Wi-Fi. They're making a big fuss about that, doing videos, going slow motion, getting the real story and all of that. You'll make a big deal over that. Like, okay, they're out, arguing with the Palestinians and the fight breaks out, Meanwhile, your people are over there bombing. Those people over there bombing whole resorts full of people just to get one person. Just uncouth. You using the book of the law where it says, blot out Amalek. Remember the sins of Amalek, blot them out as a justification. And you have no problem with that. You're justifying. You have nothing to say. And your buddy Vocab Malone for years mocked, all right, the Muslims. Okay, did not he dress up in Islamic, all right, paraphernalia that he got from a costume store to make mockery of the Muslims? Remember this? Remember all these skits you used to do, mocking the Palestinians and the Muslims and their religion? Your friend David Wood, ate. He took and balled up a Quran paper and ate it. He chewed it. I literally chewed the Quran paper.
Yeah, yeah.
John, do you really think we can't escalate? Do you? My goodness. Do you really think that you want to go this route? You think, he made Islamicize me. He made the boom boom room. Dude, I will buy the domain pissonthequran.com if you keep going down this road. And every single thing that happens, I will say this is because this is Muhammad Hijab. He's putting us in this direction. Hey, Muhammad.
So y'all see the blatant hypocrisy of these devils. Now you have this one devil Abu who's linked with David Wood, who's linked with Vocab Malone. You can see this devil here, Abu Kamar, been following the apostles and elders and brothers around for years. These agents following brothers, showing up to the camp, not revealing his true identity. And he's always trying to link us with Muslims. But here it is. He did this video, the Hebrew Israelites versus Palestinians, one Westers versus Muslims. There's all of these terms. All right. And unfortunate history. See, history. They're trying to tie us to those Muslims, man. We told you that they were going to do this. Here it is. He's making a big deal, but your very cohorts, all right, as there's basically what he's saying in his videos. I have the footage to show that it was the Israelites who egged on that, that situation with the Palestinians. They tried to play the victim, but the police was helping them, and pretty much they incited it. Throwing the Quran around, which, as we'll show you at the end of the day, bro, if you got the Quran out there and you're at a protest going on with the Palestinians and the Israelis, throwing a Quran, stepping on it, the best thing to do is just go into the Quran and show them that even that particular book, I don't know if it's in Surah, we used to be heavy into that. We used to have a Quran and just to cut Muslims, bring it to the camp, but we wasn't stepping on it, throwing it. It's like, come on, man, all of that, that's for show. But basically what he's showing in his video is saying, well, the Israelite dudes were doing that and had to do bow down. I will show you. But the bottom line is blatant hypocrisy. Your very Christian cohorts, okay, make mockery of these people. Chewing the Quran. So what's the difference between what these Israelite brothers did, right? Which that's a different camp. Y'all have openly seen us rebuke these dudes, so y'all can't ever say that we endorsed what they doing. The Lord had the spirit for us to do that, because in this video, he's gonna try to link GMS. Saying Wi-Fi got this behavior pattern from GMS. Well, we'll show you, man. But let's go back. Hold up. Let's go back here. Okay. It says, exploring the solidarity between blacks and Palestinians. Now, let's look up this word solidarity. What is this devil doing? What is this devil doing, man? Solidarity. Unity or agreement of feeling or action, especially among individuals with a common interest. All right. Mutual support within a group. So why all of a sudden, with all of this stuff with the Palestinians, all of these issues going on with the Hebrew Israelites, all of this, these events we're seeing, like, well, why are you so gung-ho to link us, the so-called blacks, all right, as then they said Black Lives Matter supports Palestine. So basically they're on that path to link us, okay, to domestic terrorism, as now they're telling you particular people who have Hamas driven, ideologies and want vengeance for what's going on in, over there in the coast of Palestine and all of that. In Gaza, they want, they're saying people are over here who, domestic terrorists are being brought over here. We can't determine who they are as we're letting all of these people in through these borders. So a particular terrorist, terrorists on their way, and you just go let them in without vetting them, or this is all happening under your precious Joe Biden administration because they have a plan. And what is the plan? To bring as much chaos that they can bring, all right, so that they can eventually bring their order, man, to crash out this system, man. Okay, real quick, let me bring this article up just while I'm thinking about that. All right. It says wider war, all right, this is off of Blacklisted News. Wider war will bring inevitable attempts at martial law in America. Okay. So not long ago at the height of the fear of a global pandemic, all right, the U.S. underwent a change that many people argue would never happen. Okay, meaning basically they started to take away your rights, justify infringing on your body, making you do things. All right. That's another thing this devil is trying to hide from. You force people to do that. And then now it's coming out as destroying people. You force people to put that stuff in them, to work, to go in particular stores. We all saw that. Okay, first we all saw you guarantee that taking it, all right, the taco sauce, taking it will fully, you wouldn't catch it. You would be fully good. But people started to notice, well, damn, I'm still catching. So then it was like, well, it was an experiment. We'll just figure out another one. And it kept giving you, and now people are destroyed. People are destroyed, man. People are losing children. People are just dropping dead. Heart attacks are a normal thing. Right? This is all happening right before our eyes. Yet the people are ultimately being looked at as the terrorist. Mainly those who have a particular talking point, and they're trying to merge them all together. But anyway, you can look this up, but it says our constitutional rights were no longer set in stone, but mere guidelines that government officials could bend or break in the name of public health safety laws no longer had to be passed, all right, because you're living in a technocracy. The decision making and laws that dictate what people should do in certain situations, in a situation of a sickness breaking out, it's all predicated upon scientists, people who deal in the field of technology. Those are the ones who are making the decisions for how this world moves forward. You no longer, as an individual, have rights over your body. You can just be invaded. You can be forced. All right. Ultimately, which there's laws in Esau's, code where you could say, well, technically, I shouldn't be forced to yada, yada, yada. But, well, they're operating around that now. Your constitutional rights, everything like that you once boasted in as an American, you have those no more. And they're flexing and doing it right in your face, man. Meanwhile, Vocab Malone and the likes of him are trying to paint the Israelites, even with the little scuffle that went on in Chicago. Bro, Israelites ain't going around the planet Earth bombing, fighting, and saying that ultimately we're going to go back to Israel and take the land over because we're rightful owners to it. Are we doing that? No, there is a group of people doing that. And that's kind of like the elephant in the room. All of you Christians, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for supporting, all right, war crimes. Okay? Because you same devils who are saying, well, they have the right to stand up for themselves and retaliate, are the same devils that tell us that we should let bygones be bygones and get over it. Love your enemy. Turn the other cheek. That's what Christians hurled at us all of these damn years. that played out worthless religion. You Christians are something else, man. Your reign of terror is just about up, and your justification of it is very, very, very disheartening. Is distasteful. I mean, there's you Edomites are really showing yourself to be scums, man. All right, but this goes into what? Two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. Okay, and he's getting ready to speak as a dragon. He's getting ready to show you, all right, it is what it is. So basically, all of these things that we see happening, all right, war, rumors of war, all right, these potential threats, and these people as the enemy, but then the enemy is amongst us, so we got to be putting people on the edge of their seats, using fear tactics. They're getting ready to scare people into that NWO, accepting it. So martial law is getting ready to break out. All right, some type of FF, all right, false FLAG is getting ready to take place on the shores of America. Okay, something is getting ready to happen, all right, with an Israelite camp. We're living in perilous times. Okay, let's get that. I keep forgetting to use this, the screen splitter. Perilous times. Second Timothy chapter 3 and 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Perilous times will come. Very difficult times, man. Hard to approach. All right, and we're here. All right, and all of these tacky ass Israelites that y'all thought was cute and y'all supported, all right, who were just operating like brutes, just tripping, making deals with the devil under these 501c3s, got these agreements. They're going to be used by the powers that be. You're starting to see a lot of them be pushed to do interviews all over the place. The devil is getting ready to make a move, man. Hard to do, hard to do, take, or to approach. Troublesome, dangerous, fierce, savage. And hey, man, the devil's getting ready to go all out. You see? Now, let's go back here. Let's go back to this article here. What is this devil doing? What is Esau doing? What is this article all about? See, Esau, Edom is leading you niggas into a snare. And that's what he's do. The wicked have set snares for me, yet I err not from thy precepts. So we're going to have to operate in wisdom in these times. As the Israel-Hamas conflict has intensified and grown more deadly in recent weeks, the pressure has been on governments, businesses and organizations, and individuals around the world to pick a side. See, to pick a side. That's what's going on in the news. Esau, Edom is trying to make people pick a side so that they can what? Categorize you. Because that's all Esau's doing. He's allowing these videos to go up. He's pretty much sitting back, placing everybody in categories so that he can make his assault. He can and come at you, make war with you. See, they're telling Jake, you got to pick this side. You got to pick that side. See, this is where the safe haven of being under the wings of Yahweh Bashim Shai keeps us safe, because ultimately we don't stand on any of their sides. We don't pick the Israelis or the Palestinians. We can go into the scriptures and show you the fate of those nations. We can show you why these things are happening. We can show you that land overall technically doesn't belong to them, period. But just like at the time of David, all right, just like at the time Abraham, heathen have had control of that land, all right, for prophecy's sake. There will be a labor and a toiling for us to get back, all right, which that's the Garden of Eden, that region, all right, which if you look over there, it looks all dry. The true people ain't there. It ain't gonna look like that when we get into the kingdom, man. Little dome, idols being set up, man. It's going to be flourishing, man. You devils just don't have it. So we don't pick either side. You're not going to And this is where we're safe because we're openly telling you we don't stand with any side. We're openly condemning, all right, both parties at the end of the day. According to the scriptures, they all have a part in our downfall. You see? So going back here, it says governments and organizations and individuals around the world are having to pick a side. The pressure has been on people to pick a side. Like, you can lose your job. We're coming into those times. You can lose your job if you have an opinion against these people. You see? The devil is, remember, the serpent is more subtle than any of the beasts of the field. He's going about this in a very subtle way. He's by law getting ready to be able to accuse you and have you locked away or tortured or, without trial. Systematically, you won't have any rights. And they're going to, through the right scare tactic, be able to implement a full technocracy to where, all right, who that, all right, with the gate, with Gil Bates, all right, the falsified guy, what's his name? Those type of people, all right, who are complete demons, are going to have jurisdiction over what you do, over what the people need to do. They can say, well, okay, if because the bottom line is this: all kind of demics. It's getting ready to be more demics coming. All right, more famines, so to speak. All right, pestilences. Salaki. More pestilences are coming. All right, read this article. All right. WEF scientist brags that next demic will kill billions. And this is not medical information. We're just reading articles, man. We just lowly and oppressed people, trying to find our way back home. This is just reading the article. At the end of the day, you oh my goodness, man. You devils, boy. Oh, man. Far left universities set up classes to teach Satanism. But yeah, something's getting ready to come in many forms, in the form of domestic terror, in the form of, pestilences and sicknesses and all of that. All of these types of things are coming to the earth. So this is what they're saying. Meanwhile, you see all of this chaos breaking out. All right. And that's happening for a reason as well. So lucky I had to step away. So basically, as you can see here, you're either with us or Hamas, Israel. There can be no neutrality regarding the Middle East conflict. All right. A spokesman for Israel's foreign ministry has claimed. So as the scripture talked about, the least of the flock would draw everybody out. All right. That's happening, with that war going on over there. Okay. It's also happening emotionally. People's emotions are being drawn, which in every way. And when you have people under, delusions, all right, and their minds are swayed to go this way or that way based upon your propaganda, people are easily controlled that way. You see, this is why they wanted to break up family, because amongst family comes standards. They perverted, the so-called religion. And they're setting up an anti-Messiah world. So one of the ways that they're going to get it by is by using these small hats, all right, the least of the flock, who rule this whole setup, the Amalekites. They're going to use, that whole 1948 thing, which has been it's been proven according to biblical prophecy that whole state of Israel has nothing to do with the promised throne of David that was going to dominate the planet Earth, under who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. That's the next time the Israelites are going to return to that land. All right. What you're doing is the forwarding of Edomite supremacy. your dominant colonial period rule. It's basically still going on, ruling by the sword, having the fatness of the earth, and you're able to do these things without, for years without kickback, and now the weak are saying I'm strong. So what they're getting ready to do is for the purpose of accusation, because what does the scripture say? Let's get the book of this is the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter and the 11th verse. As you can see, it says the beast from the earth, which this is basically the revival of Rome. The deadly wound being healed led to Babylon the Great, America, the modern day Rome. And then you have, all right, the vassals in the form of the 10 horns that make it a beast system. All right, remember the whore rides the beast. And that's the NATO and EU and these various different nations that have given their alliance to this whole system. But in the end, they're going to be used to turn against Babylon the Great, which we see that all happening now. But I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, okay? And he had 2 horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. So the 2 horns like a lamb, all right? Let me look this word for horns up. All right, how they're using the religious aspect, because what is religion? All right, what is religion? Religion has it deals with a savior. All right, so the word is keepus or kiras. All right, it says, I'll just get to the point, a mighty, valiant helper, author of deliverance, or of a Messiah. All right, and ultimately, the 2 horns like a lamb represent the democratic and republican system. Okay, and we're living in a time where those 2 systems have pretty much ran their course, and people have been drawn to this left-right paradigm. This religion, that religion. They use these 2 opposing. All right, because it's more, the Democrat and Republic is just one, but when you look in Esau's system, everything is one against another. All right, so he controls, both of these spectrums to draw people into these categories so that he can make an accusation, or that he can speak as a dragon. Okay, and what is that? Dracon. All right, and if you watch our videos, we've always showed you that Dracon goes back to an Athens, Greece lawgiver. Look him up. Okay. Draconian measures, where we hear that term today. It deals with severe punishment, all right, for certain crimes, no matter how small it is or if it's bad. It's all of the punishment. It's a severe, harsh method of rule. And this is what these devils are getting ready to pretty much do in the earth. So I thought that was interesting that, the world is being told to pick a side. All right. So that they can place you in categories. We don't have to read that. But going back to this article, exploring the solidarity between Black Americans and Palestinians. Well, la dee da. Oh man. So you're being you Jakes are being led, through these philosophies, through these false movements, all of these movements Esau Edom raises up for you Jakes to follow. Black Lives Matter. It's all linked to other things where he can accuse you, where he can draw you in and bring your ass to the sword, man. Okay. Given our history and experiences with oppression in the U.S., African Americans can relate and empathize with Palestinians' plight. Now, all of a sudden, you want to link us out of all of these years. You see, out of all of these years, you want to link us all of a sudden to, Muslims, the Palestinians. When in the hell did the niggas and the Palestinians in America? All right, you just grew. You just had to be around them. All right, like what are you doing? Themselves long persecuted and tyrannized, they too sympathize with our community Through protests, the arts, speaking out in various arenas, Palestinians have supported the Black Lives Matter movement. There you go. We see what's happening. And with Black Lives Matter at that time, you had the black identity extremist. You know, this devil is moving. He's moving craftily, very, very, and you got to watch him. That's why we do these videos, man. Okay. It says condemning racism. However, the solidarity between African Americans and Palestinians is far from new. For decades, our communities have shown support for one another, united by parallel struggles for freedom and justice, as well as our unwavering conviction for resilience. Then it starts with the first. Who does it start with? The first, Malcolm X. Okay, the civil rights movement. They're getting ready to tie our doctrine to this. They start with Malcolm X. Now we're living at a time where you got to watch these niggas, man. I'm not just saying that because I'm hating or we jealous. These dudes are the particular Israelites are making some very, very finicky and fickle and funny moves that you as an Israelite, like you watching, you got to be like, what's up with that? Tell me what's up with this. Why is IUIC sitting down all of a sudden with Muslims, calling them their brothers? Okay, the scriptures say, who is my brethren? Who is my mother? Who is my, they that do the will of the Lord, man? Why are you sitting with Muslims talking about, well, these are our brothers, when you got this Masonic, all right, hand to the temple pose? That's a Masonic pose. All right. Now, someone could just, tap their head or, but these dudes are making it a point to do these poses right in front of your face. And you think that somehow this shouldn't be mentioned or looked at, or like, why are you all of a sudden, y'all treat us like we the scum of the earth, and we teach the Messiah coming, Yahweh Shai, tell our people to repent and come back to the Lord. And we're like the scum of the earth. But then Farrakhan and Ben X and all of these guys, these are brothers. Ben X, and he's condemned the Hebrew Israelite. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Y'all ain't building nothing. What are y'all doing in the community? Talking shit. But why are these dudes sitting? What's this all about? Fair use.
Islam, they use the Quran. However, we're coming together on common grounds today on how to reform Black America. Brother Ben X being under the tutelage of Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and brothers on this side in IUIC being under the tutelage of General Bishop Nathaniel.
You see that? At one point, IUIC was registered as a Islamic corporation under that 501c3. We have the proof, but what is this all about? But maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm going too far. Maybe, I'm just hating. All right. Maybe I'm just hating. And there's that, that hand pose, but we have a book that goes into that, that goes into all of that stuff. So, weird behavior, again, questionable. Let's get the book of Nehemiah, or I believe Ezra, the 4th chapter. This is the same thing that happened in times past when our forefathers were rebuilding Solomon's temple, So this is, adversaries hinder the work, as ultimately under the Medo-Persian Empire, we were given, a decree starting with Cyrus that we could, rebuild the temple. So as we started to rebuild it, the nations got very, very scared because they heard the stories of what it meant to have that temple functioning, standing, and we being in our right power with the Lord. They remember that meant, David, destroying our ancestors, our forefathers and foremothers, taking us down, Solomon ruling. They know what, this temple being rebuilt was always centered around having favor with the Lord on earth. So as the enemies, this is Ezra 4:1, the enemies of Judah and Benjamin heard that the exiles were rebuilding the temple to Yahweh, the God of Israel. And the temple was always built, all right, unto Yahweh, the name Yahweh. So to say we don't have the name and then say we are rebuilding the temple, into what name are we building that temple in? So when the enemies heard that, Judah, all right, and Benjamin and Levi was there too, all right, because remember, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi went into the Babylonian captivity. The northern kingdom went into the Assyrian captivity. All right, from that point, the northern kingdom, all right, left the Assyrian captivity to come over here to the Americas. All right, but Judah had went into the Babylonian captivity and then to the Medes and the Persians captivity. This is where we're rebuilding the temple. And right now we are rebuilding the temple. Does not the scriptures liken us as lively stones built upon a spiritual temple? Let's get that real quick. All right. The book spiritual temple, spiritual sacrifices, Salakia. So 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. This is 1 Peter's, all right, 2 and 5. It says, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house, all right, and holy priesthood to offer of spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Yahweh Shai. So remember, our relationship with the power, Yahweh, all right, by Shem Yahweh Shai was, it was centered around, either an earthly tabernacle or a temple, but now that we don't have a physical temple, which you got particular camps telling you to send them money so, all right, they can do what God commanded us, all right, to build a third temple, which he didn't command us to build a third temple. Yahweh Shai is building a third temple in a spiritual sense, and that's through the believers. Each soul is a what? A lively stone, built up a spiritual house, all right? 1 Peter 2 and 5, and you are living stones that God is building into a spiritual temple. So when you hear about New Jerusalem coming down from heaven, that's the believers, that's the elect. That's the temple that's going to ultimately rule, all right, that's going to, the Lord is going to establish under Yahweh Shai. You're going to have the tabernacle of David. That's a government. That's that's the temple that will rule and govern, all right, out of the garden eastward in Eden. So we're building up a spiritual temple, all right? What's more, you are his holy priest. You're now the mediators through the mediator to bring about a message, to give advice and guidance, and Jake don't want to believe it. But these are the times we're living in, man. All right, the proper leadership is going to be key, all right, to get through this straight gate. All right, and then ultimately you're going to have to just be accepted by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? It says acceptable to the Most High by Yahweh Shai. Okay, and then going back to where we were, so we're a spiritual temple. So back in our history, when the enemies of Judah and Benjamin heard that the exiles were rebuilding, all right, a temple, all right, and where were we exiles? We were exiles, all right, in the Persian captivity. All right, the Medo-Persian Empire. We were exiles, and now we exiles in this Babylon the Great. All right, the children of the captivity. Let's look at this word captivity. Captivity. All right, Gawala. Exiles, captivity, exiles. All right, so someone who's in captivity. Okay, to uncover, to remove. Captivity. All right, you're in exile means you're what? In captivity. And we're in captivity now, but we're building a spiritual temple. It says, so they came to Zerubbabel, all right, which that was the governor. We didn't have kings at this time. The last kings were in the Babylonian Empire. So here, one of the rulers of the Medo-Persian Empire set Zerubbabel as the governor over, Jerusalem. So he, all right, led, the first captives from the Babylonian captivity back, all right, to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple. All right. I believe Ezra was of that batch. He was more of a morale than a builder. He was more, and Ezra was given more of his aspect was more of a preaching aspect. He was to he kept the morale. You had particular preachers around there. He was of a priestly family, but he was preaching. He was a prophet. He was going around keeping Jake, giving him messages, showing him visions that the Lord was giving him, to keep him strong in the work, while you had actual people really building too. Okay? So they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you. These heathen came. And ain't that what they do? They come to the Israelite camps. They act like they, like they try to condemn us, or they try to bring us over to Christianity. We're all one people. They want to build with us. For we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. And that goes back to the time where the Lord wiped Jake out of that land and put heathen there. And particular priest taught them how to keep certain laws and do certain sacrifice. So they really believe, the Samaritans, they really believe, okay, that they were, years on down the line, they really was like, well, we, the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But what did Zerubbabel say? Zerubbabel, all right, and Jeshua, all right, and the rest of the chief fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord, okay, of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us. He gave us this decree to do this. So the Lord used Cyrus to allow us to rebuild the temple. So we were building it, and it says, then the people of the land weakened the hands of Judah. Let's look at this word weaken. They're trying to weaken our hands again. Weakened. To shrink, relax. It says rapa. Sink, relax, withdraw. They're trying to get us to withdraw, abandon. They're trying to get us to sink. They want us to relax. They don't want us to be fervent about, doing this work. It says, then the local residents tried to discourage and frighten the people of Judah to keep them from their work. All right, Jesus is the word, following brothers around. Okay, you got all manner of weird agent activity popping up. Okay? But back then, the residents, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it says, and they hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even unto the reign of Darius, the king of Persia. So when you read it in the NLT, it says they bribed agents to work against them. See? They bribed agents to work against them. See? And frustrate their plans. This went on during the entire reign of King Cyrus. So the entire reign of King Cyrus, the Israelites trying to rebuild the temple, called pure hell, man. Okay? Then it was more opposition. So all of these heathen have always been in opposition. Now, how hard they're going against us is they've always been in opposition. Okay? Writing letters to the kings like, please stop. Stop these niggas, man. If this was the letter they wrote. It says, the king should know that the Jews who came here to Jerusalem from Babylon are returning. Hold up. This is a copy of the letter, Ezra 4:11. This is a copy of the letter to King Artaxerxes, which I believe he was the one in that movie 300, if I'm not mistaken. From your loyal subjects in the province of the West Euphrates River. The king should know that the Jews who came here to Jerusalem from Babylon are rebuilding this rebellious and evil city, they have already laid the foundation and will soon finish all its walls. So they know, these heathen know, all right, the world, people don't know the Bible. We know, they know. See, the thing is, they've been able to capitalize off of us not knowing, not getting it, the truth of the matter not reigning supreme in the earth. They've been able to, pretty much move in deceit and capitalize off of it until there's time. So they know, okay, that the rebuilding of the temple is centered around us getting right with our power. They remember King David. They know what it means that we're back at one with our power for them. So their mind frame is to what? We got to destroy this. We got to stop it. This is evil. It's against what we want. It's against, this world. It says, and the king should know that if this city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, it will be much to your disadvantage. All right, because Cyrus had it rebuilt because he felt like that region, the Lord put a spirit on him. It was like, well, I can use them as vassals for my kingdom. Okay, it says it will be much disadvantage for the Jews will then refuse to pay tribute, customs. Basically, them being back with their power, they're gonna rebel against you. All right, since we are your loyal subjects and don't want the king dishonored in this way, we have sent the king this information. You got sellouts today of our own people, heathen, doing everything in their power to discredit what we're doing and make it to seem evil, rebellious, wicked. And you're going to have particular weirdos who are going to be used to help aid and forward that narrative about us. You see? Because the devil he's scared. He said, we suggest that search be made of in your ancestors' records, all right, where you will discover that this rebellious city has been in the past. In fact, it was destroyed because of its long, troublesome history and against the revolts, all right, of revolts against the kings in countries who controlled it. So they know, and really what they're fearing is the King David. They're fearing the throne of David. They knew what it took to establish that. So they are afraid. Great fear fell on them. We declared to this king that if this city is rebuilt, its walls are complete, the province of the west Euphrates River will be lost to you. So they were writing letters, doing everything in their power, okay, to have the king to stop us from being able to build. All right, and they're going to do it in this time. All right, and they're afraid. All right, they're afraid. They're scared. Let's see real quick. That ain't what I want. Give me 1 second, Salakia. So this is what they're doing. Let me go to another article real quick. Hold up. Remember this one. Times of Israel. All right. How many Hebrew Israelites are there? All right. How wary should Jews be? See? Recent militant posturing of Israel United in Christ, followers of the Hebrew Israelite spiritual movement, and the way that they even standing, that shoulder to shoulder touching, that's a Masonic thing. God damn, Jake. Anyway, hey, I'm just saying. Anyway, followers of the Hebrew Israelite spiritual movement has alarmed many already on edge. Recent attacks and rise in anti-Sem. So we don't have to read it, but there you go. This is what this is. As it says in the book of Isaiah. Let's get that real quick. The book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. Egypt is through. This is the book of Isaiah 19 and 16. I'll start at 17. Just get to the point. It says, in the land of Judah, because the tents of Judah will be raised up first. You know, that's the Judah is the head tribe. So everything that we do, whether you got the native tribe, the northern tribes, they're gonna label it black. Okay. In Egypt, all right, in the system of Edomite supremacy, anything that you try to do for yourself is going to be centered around black. That's a buzz term. That's a politicized term that puts you in a box, okay, and puts you under all manner of, accusations. So Isaiah 19 and 17, and the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention of shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it. And what did he determine against this place's destruction? So people are in great fear. Isaiah 19 and 17 in the NLT, just to speak the name of Israel will terrorize them. For the Lord of heaven's army has laid out his plan against them. So really what's happening is they're hearing our plan. They're hearing the breakdown. They know they're condemned. They know they're cut. They know that ultimately they have they're making a fool of themselves, and that they're blatantly being hypocrites. Everything is being laid out on the forefront, as the scriptures say. There will be a shameful spewing on your glory. So now you're pulling the same trick you always pull. You're getting ready to try to point the finger at her. Everybody's a boogeyman. Everybody's a threat. All right, when really at the end of the day, you're the threat and have been. Okay? And you aid and fund groups to do things so that you can eventually have the upper hand. This is your MO. This is what you do. Habakkuk 2 and 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. See, your glory will soon be disgraced. It's your turn to be disgraced. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and a shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So there's a shameful spewing, all right, being poured upon the house of the Edomites. You're absolutely caught. You're absolutely wicked. You're nasty. You're perverse. Your rulership is tacky. Everything that you stand for is not good. The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit, and you really showed yourself to be an asshole. Especially you Edomite Christians who got the nerve to say you support, all right, the Zionist, the state of Israel, and that being, tied to the Bible and the true people of God. But you only cry anti-Sem when it has to do with Edomites. You don't cry it when all of these wicked behaviors are being practiced in this world that go against the God of Shem, because that's who Shem is. Let's look it up. Because at the time of Noah, you had Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? So Genesis 9 and 26, it says, and he said unto him, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, the God of Shem, which Shem means name. The name and everything that we have today continued through this man, through his son Arphaxad. Okay? Which that lineage leads up to Abram, who had Isaac, who had Jacob, 12 tribes. Ain't you a descendant of that? And we know that through faith, first and foremost, man. So the God of Shem, everybody's talking about anti-Sem, but the God of Shem is Yahweh. Okay? The God of Shem is Yahweh. So there's particular regulations and ways and things that this world blatantly opposes the God of Shem. But the world never says anything about it. There's no big fuss against all of the perversions that are being forwarded in the earth, all right, that go against the God of Shem in the Bible. But when it's dealing with these people, now everybody wants to bring out the term Shem, or really a Shem, but they say Sem. Okay, how does a nation of people have the ability to not be criticized, or to criticize them? Ultimately, it becomes a crime. All right, like a nigga like Dave Chappelle, right? which they use these dudes to stir up controversy. All right, if he does a joke about a nigga, all right, how stupid niggas are, and play a dumb nigga role, white lips, he gets, he gets offered more money. Like, that's the funniest thing in the world. You talk about Mexicans, oh, hey Holmes, hey, they get on Mexicans, you get on different other races. All right, Elamites, you get on, if people hear that, it's just funny. But when you get on them, then all of a sudden this is anti-sim. So tell a joke about a nigga, you get applauded, but then you tell a joke centered around the small hats, and now all of a sudden you got to be canceled and questioned. So the world, we're seeing that you devils really, you're low level, man. Your time is just about up, where you can just be able to lie and and get away with it. Like the scriptures say, you're not going to remove your necks from the judgment that's coming. So this is where we at. Okay, it's coming. We told you it was coming. You think Kyrie and Kanye, you think that stuff just popped up for no reason? The marches that these particular Israelite camps do, showing up to these marches, showing up to these protests. You had ISUPK at a Black Lives Matter. You had Sakari goes to Black Lives Matter's protest. I believe so. If I'm misspeaking, but I believe they did. They went to some. Yeah, I mean, whenever it's a Jake who gets shot, they show up to those protests. All right, basically up there to saying we here to protest for our fallen brother, which the scriptures told you our people are going to be getting shot and judged in the streets. Well, that's pretty much a cause that has nothing to do with us. You go to these different protests. So what Esau's doing is he's linking these particular groups. Boom, boom, boom. He's categorizing. All right. And he's getting ready to come with a great accusation. And there's particular agents, as we just read, hired counselors amongst Israel that are going to help to forward the narrative, man. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. This is another incident that popped up where the Indianapolis police arrest terrorists for purposely driving her car into the home of used up by hate group. Like, what? It's always Fox News too, by the way. It's always Fox News or CNN. They're just always there. But listen to that title. Officers arrested a woman who police labeled a terrorist after she drove her car into a business. Everybody's a terrorist. Yeah, okay, that's an act of terror. But Gil Bates, Falsey, and all of the rest of them, they're Kamala Harris, Biden, Obama, they're not. They don't do terror, right? After she drove her car into the building in which she described as a planned attack on the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, ISUPK. All right? She was arrested. She's 34, was arrested on a preliminary charge of indictment, which is a level 5 felony if the threat is to commit terrorism. All right? So, here. The lady who ran her car into the building told officers she was watching news coverage of the Israel-Hamas war on television and decided to plan an attack on the building because she was offended by the Hebrew Israelite symbol on the front of the building. What's that symbol? Or that Star of Molech, which, they say it's the Star of David, but the scriptures never told us, all right, to have a Star of David or to use a star of the scriptures describe stars as circles. So that we were never to really, they wore it back, in the old school, but the best thing to do, all right, is, to be careful is just don't wear it, because there's nowhere you could be carrying on a vibration. So our apostles, all right, They wore that in the old school, but when we came in, there came a decree not to wear it, to disassociate ourselves with it. But basically, they have this Star of David on their building. So this lady saw it, and she automatically associated it with the small hats and ran her car into the building. Okay, what you can see here, the Star of, this is just sound advice. It's all kind of stuff, man. It's, in the New Testament, the Jewish adultery. Hold up, Salakia. Ye took up the tabernacle of Molech and the star of your god Remphan, all right, figures which ye may worship of them, and I will carry you away to Babylon. So Jake got caught up in, different symbols, which at the end of the day, the scriptures just don't, say wear it. So it's just like, just leave it alone. Okay. Can't attribute that to David. But what happened in this situation is that this lady saw that symbol and said, well, shit, that's them small hats. I'm gonna just rent. So basically, which I believe, me, I'm a conspiracy theorist, man. I always, we don't know what the hell is going on, but hey, I mean, it could have been legit. I mean, yeah, it could have been legit. It could have been really, but this brings more attention. You see, there's a lot of attention being made with now Israelite camps, all right, being tied in, all right, with run-ins with, the Palestinians. But then on one hand, they're trying to, promote this narrative that, the blacks and the Palestinians are linked in. You Edomites are just all over the place, man. All right, but this is, the Apostle Tahar did a video on it. Apostle Ramlav did a video on it. I just found it interesting that all of these things are happening, centered around the time with that situation, all right, with Wi-Fi in Chicago. Synonymously, there was a Wi-Fi group, all right, in the Palestinian Palestinian Israeli protests in Arkansas, standing on the GMS Arkansas Brothers spot. So it's just kind of like weird, I mean, hey, maybe it's nothing. Maybe we going too far, but, it's just mentioning these things through the spirit because it's we're living in interesting times. Okay. Going to that situation real quick. Let me show you what this devil Abu did. Give me 1 second here. This dude, Abu Kamar, basically a Christian, he's been trying to come up against the Hebrew Israelite. Look at that symbol right there by Netanyahu's head. It's just like, you know what? Just separate from it, man. It says, Hebrew Israelites versus Palestinians, one Westers versus Muslim, yada, yada, yada. So in this video, I just want to bring out a clip he from this video. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but basically he's bringing out the real, basically, let's see here. He's bringing out that, the Israelites Wi-Fi can't really incited that, which we knew, Jake, with the mic and, basically let's see.
So with that in mind, here's the clip and fair use.
Upon their mouth, their ears shall be dead.
James was not from Isaac.
They shall lick
He was a
the
white man
dust
that you I don't
like
like.
a serpent.
They shall what?
They shall lick the dust
like a serpent. What is this man
You
gonna
guys
do?
they shall lick the dust like a serpent.
Read it
I'm on the
again.
dust. They shall lick the dust like a serpent.
Hand that. To slave.
Look at this. I'm a slave,
the Lord
right?
is
I am a
gonna
slave. To Allah.
Now, I don't know if this is the Chicago camp, the Wi-Fi Chicago situation, but I don't know. But this is, basically what he's bringing out is what basically these camps, they're out at these protests, stepping on the Quran, throwing the Quran, screaming at Palestinians as they pass by. How those camps get down, that world star moment, that cut, that moment that Jake looks for in the flesh to, look bold, and how Jake is, man. Have a Edomite get on his knees and lick they boot. There's a word for it, but
You're my God.
God.
slave.
Oh my God, don't do that.
Give me Psalm
Wow.
72 and 11.
Wow,
Hey,
you're
give
doing,
me
do that
Psalms
again.
96
Wow,
and 5.
wow, astaghfirullah.
Right.
Astaghfirullah.
Give me Psalms
Wow, I'm
92.
sorry, can I
Give me
take you?
Psalms
Don't touch Can I take the Quran from you?
touch it.
Can I take the Quran from
Back
you?
up.
Now that's their property. That's their Quran. All right, that's the Wi-Fi camp. They brought that Quran. You're not allowed to touch other people's property. Okay, but as the Palestinians are going through all of this hell, that people are getting bombed to smithereens. They got family members that they can't get in touch with no more. You know, they're over here protesting. They're emotional, and then they see you stepping on that. They you know, it's going to entice. It's going to get things flared up.
Hold on. You do not treat my book that way. Please don't treat my book that way. Please don't treat my book that way. No, don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Arrested for this.
Now, what I would do... Damn, did I mess up? Hold up.
I don't want
Hey,
that.
we don't care.
What we would do, all right, because we used to bring a Quran out there just in case a Muslim walked up. That was a point where I was very, very sharp. I still know some of it in the history of how that was set up and what it's tied to. You know, basically that's a moon god cult that goes back to the Sabines, a group of Hamites who followed, you know, the sun lit up at night, so they worshipped it. You know, then eventually it became the crescent moon and the star, which represented, you know, the queen of heaven, man, the mother goddess as the light, you know, all kinds of weird, bugged out. And ultimately the Roman Catholic Church, all right, is predicated upon the worship of Mary, which is Semiramis. You see? So the best thing to do, if you're out preaching and a protest breaks out or some Palestinians walk up, just cut them with the scriptures. Because they proclaim to believe certain parts of the Bible, all right, and say that the Quran is a superior book. The Quran came decades or time, hundreds or more of years after Yahweh Shai was on the scene, and the works in the New Testament were written. It was already written before the Quran.
You should care.
We don't care.
You should care. I care about
What are you not getting?
So the best thing to do is go in their Quran and show them, because there's a scripture that say the children of Israel are the heirs to the promise. Those are God's people. So then they go, who's the Israelites? Because a lot of those Palestinians agree that the people in the Holy Land, they're not the true people, right? So then you go into the Quran and show, well, who are the Israelites? You can get into, you can cut them up, you know, and edification can come out.
What I'm saying is this, right?
Okay, did you notice the jump? Did you notice the edit? As if like a portion had been taken out? I'll play it again, this time with the timestamp briefly on. So Life SQ's video of that Muslim man, the host of the channel himself, pleading with...
Please don't do that. Please don't do that to the Quran. I'm asking you, please. Please don't do that. This is going to go viral. Please don't treat my book that way. Please don't let them take... That's the Quran they did that to. They did that to the Quran.
And so, since that unfortunate event, there have...
I hate hearing these Christian apologists, man. Y'all are so played out. You sitting here scrutinize this video, right? You sitting here scrutinizing the Israelite, finding anything you can find, but then your very friend Vocab Malone and David Wood, they ate Quran paper and made skits about Muslims blowing stuff up. Y'all been mocking these people. Now you want to have the audacity, and then he mentioned it. Yeah, well, some Christians do, and I don't really condone it. You've never openly condemned Vocab Malone for those skits. You've never openly condemned David Wood for eating Quran paper. What are you doing? He didn't even spit it out. I'm waiting on him to spit it out. I'm like, wait a minute, he swallowed it? Nigga, eat some top ramen. Why are you eating Quran paper? If you gonna go left, this shit, go left with some top ramen, man. God damn. Nigga eating Quran paper, man. These people are bugged out. Anyway, there's a point that I wanted to show in this video as well. Let's see here. Yeah, he bringing up Abba Bivens. So, yeah, they're just like We read in the book of Ezra, they were writing letters and going into our history. The book of Esther, the same thing. They're going into our history because they like, we got to stop this. They're scared.
You see, the founder of One West himself, Edward Meredith Bibbins, who's popularly known as Abba Bibbins, he's long been purported to have been a firebrand himself who sat.
See, they're scrutinizing the Israelites. All right, and you can watch the video. I wanted to play this one point because he's eventually going to bring GMS up. Damn thing stopped playing.
He suffered in a fight with Muslims in New Jersey back in the early 70s. And aside from that, I remember another story which certain One Westers, old-timers, have trafficked in. And that story posits that years later, maybe even decades after the death of Bibbins, there was a One West camp in Newark, New Jersey, and a local Muslim man who ran a nearby martial arts studio used to stand out on the sidewalk and listen to them, right? And as the story goes, some young member of that One West camp who was speaking got ahead of himself and declared that when God gives them the power, they're not only going to slay quote-unquote Edomites, rather they're also going to slay quote-unquote Jakes who are into Islam.
Yeah, the Lord's going to slay Jake. Hey, the Lord has a history of slaying Israelites who bow to idols and different gods, right? So, again, you see where they're going with it. But I wanted to play this video. This is a part of the video. And like the brother put, somehow, some way, we get dragged into the conversation. The shit has nothing to do with us. Listen to this.
Entire One West spectrum. Honestly, I think this could be said about more disciplined groups like GOCC, or which is known as a Gathering of Christ Church. So too, I think it could be said about that.
So GOCC is a good church because they teach Edomites can be saved. Everything's centered around Esau. What makes him comfortable. And the heathen, what makes them comfortable. Because I believe he's a so-called Arab, Abu. But listen to him. Listen to this.
ICGJC, the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, and especially about IUIC, Israel United in Christ, which is perhaps currently the most disciplined of the One West groups. As for WFI, however, I'm guessing they've been influenced by either GMS or...
So WFI has been influenced by GMS, out there with Edomites kissing their boots, out there and tagging, they just being belligerent, out there fighting. So the GMS openly condemns all of these things. Like, what do you got a Edomite kissing your boot for? Like, okay, well, it's cute, but what do you get? How do you gain from that? Like, to hell with these Edomites. I don't want no damn Edomite kissing on my feet. The scriptures talks about how the Edomites are going to lick the dust. That goes back to an ancient custom, all right, to where ultimately that means somebody is beneath you. You have dominion over them. They're your footstool. Okay? Licking the dust don't mean they're literally going to be walking and we're going to put our boot in front of them in the kingdom and they just licking the... No. Why would you want that? That's symbolic talk. They're going to bow it at our feet. Don't get it twisted. They're going to bow to us. Now that is true. But it won't matter until Yahushua reigns, because then, all right, ultimately we can be joint heirs in his kingdom, man. Then it'll matter. But why is this dude trying to link us, GMS, to Wi-Fi? When all of these videos, you mean to tell me they ain't seen none of these videos where GMS is saying that's the wrong way to go about things? Use wisdom next time.
By other groups which descend from GMS. And that group, GMS, Great Millstone, is considerably less disciplined and considerably more belligerent. And unfortunately, some of the men who descend from...
So IUIC is the most disciplined, but GMS is the least disciplined. But IUIC has gotten into 2 fights with ISUPK. IUIC got a member who shot a tranny. All right, Joy Morgan. Hello. R.I.P. poor Joy Morgan. The IUIC did that. Right? Now, we can't say that's what they're all about because of what one member does, but let's not see. These are agents, man. These are agents, man. They're the, whatever. We don't want to be looked at as the most anything to you people, to you goddamn heathen. But what are you trying to link? What are y'all doing, man?
or influenced by them behave in similar ways. And with that in mind, I'd like to close with a perhaps ironic note relevant to GMS. Admittedly, I'm not the first person to point this out, rather I recall others pointing this out in years past, but as I can't seem to find the old videos which made this point, I figured I'd just repeat what others before me have already noted. You see, back in 2008, there was a particularly infamous encounter between GMS and a group of women.
Let me tell you something. Are you up under a woman or with women? It makes you...
Yeah, those brothers was up edifying, and this woman just came up screaming at them. See, in this world, that, you know, that's okay. In the ancient world, women that did stuff like this were shamed. And we're ancient men. Look how she just came up.
And in that encounter, a long shouting match ensued between those three women, the GMS camp itself, and then their supporters, you know, the audience out on the sidewalk. And within that group shouting match, the crowd...
And this was in 2008. We in 2023. What are you doing? Do you want us to get into what you Christians be doing? Oh, well, wait a minute. The Christian pastor... Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Christian pastor, didn't one of them just off himself? Let's see if I can find it. Let me see if I can look it up. Pastor Salakia. Pastor offs himself. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah. We got to see the one where they show Alabama preacher kills himself after being outed as transgender. Oh, wow. I thought he was a cross-dresser. It said, no, he was so it was really a woman? Wow. Yeah, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this shit. This is madness. What is going on here? So this is what Christians are doing. This is a pastor. Look at him. He's preaching in the pulpit. He had a secret, outed for having a secret life online. All right, as a transmission curvy girl. Wow. Brittany described herself as a transitioning curvy girl that loves smiling clothes and shoes. So did he lose weight? Like, this is weird, man. He's with Donald Trump. Yo, you Edomites gotta go, man. But you sitting up here scrutinizing an event from 2008.
It's not the entire one-way spectrum. You know, honestly, I think this could be said about the camp itself and then their supporters, you know, the audience out on the sidewalk. And within that group shouting match, the crowd started chanting something which I can't repeat here, but I'll post a link in the video description. And
this dude is a demon. We said that the apostle, you're a slut. See? You're a slut. That's what they was chanting. Right? And a shameless woman shall be counted as what? A dog, according to the Bible. All right? And this was earlier on when things were more fiery, but the bottom line is this. Look, what the hell does this got to do with anything? Why is GMS being brought in this? Again, we're going to be numbered amongst the transgressors.
in the midst of all that chaos, Tahar offered an incredible observation about what sort of factors he thought might have been emboldening those women.
You know why she's doing that? You know why she's doing that? Because she knows the cops is right around the corner. She wouldn't do that in Afghanistan. That's my traitor! That's my...
She wouldn't do it in Afghanistan because they have strict laws. She wouldn't do it in Sudan either. Iran, all the ands.
So Tahar said that those women were acting like that because they knew that the cops were right around the corner. And then he declared that they wouldn't do that in Afghanistan. And honestly, that was an incredible test which Tahar was indirectly proposing there. And in the years after that, some started to contrast that declaration with the rather brazen stuff that GMS members and GMS-affiliated camps would say about Islam. And, so there were people who were asking if GMS or those that they influence would do such things in Afghanistan, right?
So you see where they're going with it? Again, they're just trying to link us to Islam, man. That's all that's happening here. All right? And I wanted to get into a few other things, but, the point was made. Oh, my goodness. Man, people are on to what's happening, man. People ain't fooled by this garbage you're putting out there, but ultimately, we know you're going to wage war on the Israelites. You're getting ready to come down with great wrath, but ultimately, the victory is in the name of Yahweh Bashim Shai for his remnant, man. All right, so there was some other stuff I wanted to get into, but we'll leave it there. We'll be back with more. Shalom.